Hey guys, it's Di from BeingMommywithStyle, and I thought I'd do a quick Chatty car vlog today. We're getting back in the swing of things. I took last week off, and this week I'm gonna just try to do some day in the life vlogs, try to get caught up. A lot of the videos that I had planned for like the next month, I don't really know if I want to do them in the extended stay or just want to wait. So I'm just trying to sort all that out. I owe a couple people found on Fridays. I still have those plans, so it's just kind of figuring out what I'm gonna get done while I'm at the extended stay and just rolling with everything. So anyhow, if you don't know why we're in extended stay, I'll link the videos down below so I don't have to keep re-explaining everything. But we're going on week 3, and the total length of repairs is going to be a different time length, I think, than the length that we're in the extended stay. And we could be like in the extended stay for a while and then back in the house and then back in extended stay. So it's just really kind of up in the air right now. We're just kind of rolling with it, like I said. So today we are at Great Lakes Crossing. We're gonna run in. They just got a new Vera Bradley outlet, so I thought we would run in there and I was gonna do a quick car vlog before I ran inside. And a couple people had questions on the extended stay grocery haul that I posted today, so I thought I'd answer those and just talk a little bit about, you know, life and where we're at and that sort of thing. So basically, Mom4, she asked, could you please do a video explaining why the repairs are taking so long, or why they're going to take so long? Did the crash cause structural damage? Do you have to wait on permits from the city? Or are you waiting on contractors? The short answer is yes, yes, and yes. So you have to understand this impact was so great because the car was probably going around 40 miles per hour or something like that. I mean, they actually punctured a wall in the side of our house, so a structural wall. So one of our foundation walls is actually, it got caved in basically. So at this point, we have a temporary wall up, so that's all temporary and secured. Our temporary electrical just got approved by the city, and we're working on getting temp electric back up, so that way just the kind of like basics work, and also the contractors have electricity to run the power tools and stuff, because that's kind of important in some cases. And so that's kind of the stage that we're at right now. But it's a long process because yes, it is structural. I mean, just imagine as if somebody or a car punched a hole in the like concrete side of your house. So our house is like brick, and then there's a, you know, concrete wall behind that. The car actually went through the brick, through concrete, and just, you know, pushed all that into the house. And I have videos showing all this. I'm just delaying them so that the house is always in a different stage than the video that I show. So the one that I took right at the beginning that literally just shows everything caved in, I could show that now because there's just a temporary wall up. It's just a matter of editing it. So I'll try to get that posted up, and it probably will make more sense once you see it. But yes, so it's a waiting game of waiting for things to get approved with permits from the city. It's a game of waiting for contractors to be available on certain days, because everything has to be done in a certain order. So you can't do the mortar on the outside, the brick and mortar, before you do the laying the new concrete foundation. The house maybe have to jacked up, because I was sitting in the living room and I actually felt the house move. I mean, that's how hard of a hit it was. So it's definitely a long process. So we may be back in the house for a while. I mean, structurally we can be inside the house. It just obviously can't stay like this forever. I was joking with the contractors. I'm like, I see you saw our new back door. We were thinking about just putting a sliding glass door right into the basement. But anyhow, so there's some things that have to get done, and I don't know if we've gotten the structural engineer report back. I mean, that kind of gives the contractors an indication of how underlying the damage is, but until they start getting in and ripping out drywall and ripping off bricks, because there's actually like cracks going up and stuff, they may not even know the full extent until they start ripping stuff apart. So it's kind of like they said to me, things will get worse before they get better, which I understand what they mean. So anyhow, we're just, I mean, what else can you do but just try to be as patient as possible. So that's kind of where we're at, and it's going to be a long process. I mean, there's no other way to put it. It's going to be a long time. So because the car hit at the speed it did, I mean, you know, it actually punctured the wall and everything. And the interesting thing is that this has happened in our town more than you would be comfortable with knowing. The firefighters have said they'd seen this a number of times. And actually what's kind of eerie is it happened in our town almost exactly to the day that it happened at our house 1 year prior. And I was actually able to talk to that homeowner. Super, super sweet lady. I mean, she knew exactly what, I mean, obviously because it happened to her exactly a year ago. And they are still in the process of doing the last fixes on her house. So if that gives you some sort of indication, it's now a year later and they're just in the final stages of fixing hers. It's going to be a long process. So, it's just, that's what it is. It's unexpected and it's unfortunate, but it's a long process. And, you know, I did other videos like the hows and the whys, and really at the end of the day, does it particularly 100% matter because it's over and done with and you can't do anything about it? No, in like kind of a grand overall sense. Obviously, we're going to be taking some measures to see if we can secure the backyard a little bit more. I know some people had asked, can you put a fence up? No, it's not. You cannot have a fence in our city unless you have a pool, and I'm not interested in having a pool because of other, you know, safety reasons. But there are some things we can do, like put more trees up in the back. A lot of times people in our city put decorative rocks out, and so we may explore some decorative rock features to be an extra barrier. Obviously you would hope that lightning doesn't strike twice, but I'm not really wanting to take my chances. To be honest, this time, at this point of the month, we were supposed to be putting up a play structure in the backyard. And that was going to be like, you know, a joint thing for the girls. And where the car went through is right where it was going to go. So, you know, I mean, we're not wanting to take any chances. This shouldn't happen again, but just because it shouldn't happen the first time. So anyways, but talking to the lady that it happened at her house a year ago was good because she understood. I mean, it was interesting to see her response versus everyone else's, because, you know, typically it's a shocking thing. Like, people don't expect you to say this, that a car went into your house. You know, people always have the same reaction. And I think when I did those first couple videos, people didn't really get that I was getting the same reaction from people. I don't think I made that clear. But literally the first things out of people's mouths were, you know, after, is everyone okay, is the first question. Was the person old? Did they have a heart attack? So people kind of jumped on me because I used a heart attack as, like, you know, example. But literally, I'm talking, I'd say 75% of the people that I would tell the story to, that would be like the second question out of their mouth. So that's how that ended up being an example. It was not a heart attack. It was not an older person. The person definitely had some sort of mental issues going on, and I don't really make it my business to comment on people's mental issues. I think that everyone in the world has different mental states that you go through in your whole entire life. A couple of people jumped on me because, you know, they're like, you know, you can't talk about that. That's just wrong. And, you know, but I kind of view like mental states as, you know, one of those, it's like waves. I just did yoga this morning, so we're going to get very introspective, but it's kind of like waves on a beach. You know, it just kind of ebbs and flows with the tide, and it's ever changing. And I think that every single person in the world goes through periods of, you know, like anxiety and stress and depression and just different varying levels of that. And I don't really make it my point or my business to get into that with other people, because it's not my business. Until it crashes into your house, then it becomes your business. But this was definitely a severe case of, you know, I don't even want to put specific labels on it because I'm not a psychologist, but like almost like a psychosis. Hopefully that's not like a diagnosis label, because I don't want to diagnose anyone. But psychosis to me seems to be more of like a description to where like their reality is actually different. So this was a person that had been in a mental institution, had gotten out, was under mental orders, and went back to a mental institution basically. So it's definitely a psychosis. It was definitely like a long-term thing that affected them, and it was something that probably could have been prevented had that person, you know, acknowledged the warning signs, or, you know, people around him or whatever. But they are back where they need to be to get the help for themselves, and that's just, it's one of those unfortunate things. I don't think you can really, you know, this is definitely different than like a mental like issue that we all go through. You know, psychosis, where they literally are living in like a different reality than this reality that I'm sitting and touching. It was kind of really surreal to see that in real life, to be honest. Like, you kind of realize like, okay, well, I think I have a pretty good grasp on things, if that's like kind of out there. But he's just in a different reality, and that was kind of what we're dealing with here. So that, you know, really at this point, I've gotten to a point where I have to get past the why, because you can't do anything about it, basically is what I'm saying. And it was interesting talking to the lady that the car went into her house, and actually at a little bit more rapid speed, because it went fully into her house. Ours, it was like, you know, partially lodged. It was fully into her house. That guy, you know, also was having mental things at the beginning, and then they found out 6 months later he was also on a substance as well, cocaine. So there's a lot of things you can find out down the line that we don't even have the information right now. So it's not even worth speculating. All we want to try to do is to make sure that we try to shore up our risk of it happening again, for sure. I mean, this is a house we want to raise our family in. So definitely some things like adding in some trees and adding in some rock features and whatever else is permissible by city ordinances and homeowners ordinances, that we can kind of make sure it doesn't happen. So hopefully that makes sense. You know, now I've had a little bit more time to kind of ground it in my own head, because you know, it's really hard to explain. It's very disorienting to like be just doing your normal day-to-day things and all of a sudden to be just jarred out of that. I mean, I was probably disoriented. I mean, immediately I kind of snapped out of it after like the first 10 or 15 minutes, but it was disorienting for probably like the first week. Like, it's surreal to say this over and over. So anyways, Singy Magoo and I are gonna go get lunch, but hopefully that makes sense. So I still don't know any sort of estimate as far as how long it's gonna take to do the repairs. I do know that, you know, how long the repairs totally take and how long it's going to be that we're in extended stay may not be the same time length, probably will not be the same time. So that's pretty much where we're at. I mean, if you have any other questions, feel free to put them down below and I'll try to do them in a future question and answer. But, you know, some of them I have answers to, some of them I don't really know. I know that everyone was waiting on the structural engineer report, and then after that came back, then people were going to start tossing out, you know, dollar amounts and time amounts, and up to this point everyone's been really hesitant to do that. This camera is so heavy. It's worth it though for the clarity. It's actually worse when it's turned around, you're holding it towards you. It feels heavier than when I'm like holding it outwards at Disney World. Anyways, so hopefully in the next week or so we should get some more idea as far as time links. And not to directly compare because it's kind of the same thing, but this last time when it happened in our town, where the guy, you know, hit and went into her basement, they're just now, the structure of her house is back, but they're just finishing up the last sort of things. So it's basically been going on for a year for her, and it was a definitely high amount of fix. Oh, the other thing that people were asking is, I don't want to get into this a ton because it's going to be different from every single situation, but we do have very, very good insurance. That's one thing that my husband and I, just from our own personal, you know, stance on personal finance and all that sort of thing, is we believe insurance is very important, and we have very good insurance. So they are definitely helping us out a ton right now as far as repairs and living and all that sorts of things. Yes, you still pay your mortgage and all your regular bills just as if you were living in the house. So definitely having good insurance is key. And I would definitely say, like, this is, I don't really get into personal finance or anything like that, but this is why if I did, I would be an advocate of having a very large cushion in your savings account, much, 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 much far beyond. I know, like, some finance people say you only should have like $1,000 or something like that. I would highly recommend, highly recommend, from my own personal experiences in situations like this, it just benefits you to have, you know, a very good cushion. Like, and I think, you know, from people, I don't really want to get into it too much, but 3 to 6 months at least of living expenses, I think, is a good backup. And then very good insurance on top of it. And then also some investments that if you had to liquidate them, you could, but not that you necessarily want to. But in this case, in this specific instance, good insurance is definitely key. And also our insurance company, you know, I feel good about them. My family's been with them for, like, my dad has been with them for 40 or 50 years. So I feel very comfortable with them, and I feel comfortable that they're going to do the right thing. So, you know, but you just have to, I don't know, make sure that you're in the situation that you feel is best for your family as far as all that goes. Anyways, yeah. And the other thing is the guy that hit our house, he did have car insurance, but it actually ended up being the same company that we have. So I know someone mentioned that down in the comments, like, oh, you're in for it if that happens. So far, you know, they've treated that part well, you know, because he hit our house with his car. So it goes to his car insurance first. But, you know, we're very early into this. I know for some people you're like, it's been 3 weeks, your house isn't fixed yet. No. When you see the video that I show you, the interior damage that this car did, one, you're going to say, thank God your playroom's not on that side of the house, because they were in the playroom. But two, you're going to understand why this is going to take the better part of, could be 6 months, or, you know, the lady that had this happen a year ago, her house is still in a state of being fixed. So anyhow, that is it for today. My arm's about to fall off from this camera. I'm just going to try to do vlogs here and there. There's going to be holes. There's going to be some days where I don't upload stuff. The internet's kind of slowish at the hotel, so I'll just upload when I can, and when I can't, there won't be a video. So go watch old Disney videos that are all happy and stuff. That's all I can say. So that's it for today. Thanks for watching. Bye.